able to do. Pillar number 6, why we want to go easy on salt, sugar, and fat. I'm telling you right now, Americans are eating salt, sugar, and fat like it's our full-time job. And we got to learn to become label reading ninja warriors so that these food companies don't pull the wool over our eyes and hoodwink us. So this book was written by Dr. David Kessler. He's the former head of the Food and Drug Administration. It's called The End of Overeating. And essentially what he talks about is how these big food conglomerates, their goal is to get you hooked on their products. And they do it by adding copious amounts of salt, sugar, and fat to every product. And he says they will put salt on top of sugar, on top of fat, on top of salt, on top of sugar, on top of fat. And it is no joke. When you learn to read a label and you see, oh my God, this yogurt has 5 different types of sugar in it. This cereal has 8 different types of sugar in it. This pasta sauce has 3 different oils in it and is 65% fat. This soup is 1 serving, and a little can is 2 servings. 1 serving is 900 milligrams of sodium. I've just consumed 1,800 milligrams of sodium, which is basically over my the recommended RDA for me for sodium. So let's talk about some of this right now. So salt. Most Americans are getting 3,000 to 5,000 milligrams of sodium a day. According to the Institute of Medicine, most of us should be consuming right around 1,500 milligrams. And I want you to know that there's salt in everything that we eat. There's salt in spinach. There's salt in potatoes. There's salt, sodium in fruit. And if you were to just eat whole plant-based foods all day long, you'd probably get 500 to 600 milligrams of sodium into your body. So when we're eating packaged, boxed, and canned foods, we got to be really careful, and we want to look and see how many milligrams of sodium are in that soup. And a nice guideline, it's a guideline. It's not a hard and fast rule, but a nice guideline I tell people to follow is, and I learned this from an amazing nutritionist named Jeff Novick, check the number of calories per serving, and then immediately go to the number of milligrams. And if the milligrams, ideally, you want them to be at or less than the number of calories. So for example, if you have a can of soup and it says 600 calories, I'm sorry, that's too many, 300 calories per serving, go to the milligrams. You want it to be 300 or less. All right, just a quick example. Now, you can see here on the bottom of the screen, the global burden of disease study that involved over 300 institutions in 50 countries concluded that elevated blood pressure is the #1 world factor for death, resulting in fatal heart attacks, strokes, and other organ failures. So how is it that we are consuming so much sodium? Well, if you go out to eat, and most of us go out to eat, you are basically, all bets are off. You go to Red Lobster and you get the Admiral Feast, that's 5,000 milligrams that you're going to find in that meal. You go to the Cheesecake Factory and get their breakfast burrito, that's 3,640 milligrams of sodium. People are back in the theaters, right? After COVID, you go to the AMC's theater and you get the Bavarian Legend soft pretzel, that's 7,600 milligrams of sodium. Amy's low-fat veggie chunky soup, 1,440 milligrams in that can that's 2 servings. You get the organic vegetable broth at Whole Foods, and it's got 500 milligrams per cup. And of course, bread. So many people, I think the #1 source of sodium in America is coming from bread because it's hiding in there. But Pepperidge Farm, hearty white bread, 460 milligrams per slice. So take this to heart, guys. All right. Be mindful of your sodium. Sugar. The average American is consuming over 30 added teaspoons of sugar a day. That's 160 pounds a year. On the 7-day rescue program, we want you to be consuming less than 2 added teaspoons a day. Okay. So let me give you some examples here. Sugar in packaged foods. If you have a Yoplait fat-free Harvest Peach yogurt, 26 grams of added sugar are in that Yoplait yogurt. Now, to put that into perspective for you all, one teaspoon has 4 grams of sugar in it. So you divide 26 by 4 and you get 6.5. So there's 6.5 teaspoons of sugar that are in that Yoplait yogurt. The Choi teriyaki sauce and marinade, there's 8 grams in a tablespoon. So 1 tablespoon is basically 2 teaspoons of added sugar. Jam, right? 12 grams per tablespoon, divide that by 4, and you get the number of teaspoons of added sugar that are in there. It's 3. This Ken's fat-free vinaigrette dressing, I can't see the number because it's being blocked, but as you can see, there's a lot. It's in pasta sauces. This pasta sauce here, there's 11 grams in half a cup. That's almost, let's see, that's almost 4 times, that's almost 3 teaspoons of sugar. Oatmeal. If you're not making oatmeal on your own, you're doing these kind of Quaker oatmeal expresses that are highly processed and flavored. That's got 17 grams in that little carton there. That's over 4 added teaspoons of sugar. And then if you're drinking some of, obviously Coca-Cola or Sprite, or even one of these Arizona green teas, you're getting close to 8, 9, 10 added teaspoons of sugar there. All right, let's move on from sugar. The other thing when it comes to reading labels, though, with sugar that I want to say is by law now, these food manufacturers, they have to list how much added sugar is in their products. So go and look at sugars, and it'll say naturally occurring and then added sugars. And that's a really great way for you to tell how much are added as opposed to naturally occurring. And this is just within the last year that they've made this change. Oh, let me go back there. Fat. Most Americans are consuming 35 to 50% of their calories from fat, and it's coming from the wrong kind of fats, as we talked about earlier. It's coming from the trans fats and the saturated fats and the monounsaturated fats, as opposed to the healthy, essential polyunsaturated fats that we need, that we can't manufacture on our own. On the 7-day rescue program, we want your fat intake to be closer to 10 to 15% of your total calories on a given day. You can see here, every one of you is going to be getting all the fat you need. Your average vegetable is sitting at right around 10 to 14% fat. Who knew that broccoli is 10% fat, that kale is 12% fat? Obviously, sweet potatoes are sitting there at about 3% fat. When it comes to fruit, avocados, over 80% fat. This is why in the 7-day rescue program, we recommend you limit the avocados to half an avocado a day. Again, depending upon your goals, how much weight you're wanting to lose, and what's going on with heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and all those things. You can see mangoes, blueberries, bananas, they all are about 5% of their calories coming from fat. Cooked oats. Who knew that oats were 18% fat? If you remember, they're also 18% protein. Love that about oats. Quinoa is about 16% fat. And then you can see beans are about 5% fat. And you can see there nuts and seeds are all sitting around 70 to 90% fat, which is why we want to limit the amount of walnuts to a small handful. And when it comes to flaxseed meal, ground flaxseed meal, we want to do 2 added teaspoons a day for our omega-3 fatty acids. So with fat, you're going to be hitting a home run when you're eating whole plant-based foods, 10 to 15%, and you're getting the perfect amount of the right fats. This is a little note that somebody sent me that did the program. They said, I had a very difficult time with cravings the first few days of the rescue week. I craved salt and cheese a lot. I felt very hungry before meals. However, as the week went on, I stopped craving salt and cheese and meat. They started to seem kind of gross to me. And I started to crave things like apples and Ezekiel 4:9 bread instead of pizza and candy. And I want you to know that, one of our goals on the 7-day rescue program is to consume 4 to 6 servings of green leafy vegetables a day. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but what happens is most people at the end of the 7 days, they love kale and arugula and Swiss chard and collard greens and beet greens. They love these green leafies because your palate adapts and adjusts and you start craving these. And you feel so good when you're eating them.
2 years, I lost 60 pounds. I started with the 7-day rescue. And then basically from there went pretty much totally whole food, plant-based. Try to eat that way. Just the books are great. I have the cookbook. And then I also follow other plant-based doctors to get other recipes. Nice. It's also good to follow the Facebook groups, get the recipes and the support for the Facebook groups.
Has this been hard for you or easy?
No, it really, at first it's a little unusual, but then once you get used to it, it's like you just can't even conceive of eating meat and bacon and eggs. When you read the science, like the China study and your dad's books, your books, and you just, when you realize the science behind it all, it just makes it all worthwhile.
So you're all in.
I'm all in. And I'm trying to get my girls all in.
Let's get them.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Kathy.
Thank you.
I love the way Kathy says, how was it at first? She said, well, it wasn't hard. It was unusual. Unusual. What a word. Okay, so we're moving on. We're almost there. So pillar number 7 is why we want to move. Robust physical movement, it is deeply encoded in our DNA as human beings. And I know you guys have heard this, I'm going to repeat it. Sitting has become the new smoking. We need to get off of our butts. And I heard a study. It came recently from the Kaiser Permanente Foundation, and it was looking at adolescents. And it showed that the average adolescent these days now has 7.5 hours of screen time, and they move 7.5 minutes. That to me is one of the saddest statistics that I know of. And we got to get off the screens. We got to get off our duffs, and we got to move our bodies. You can see here on the bottom, lack of physical activity has now reached number 4 on the global causes of death right after high blood pressure, smoking, and high blood pressure. This is my father, Essie. He is 90 now, and he gets out for a bike ride just about every day. Here he is.
One of the things you love so much about exercise.
It makes you calm and easy of approach.
And then here's my mother, Ann, who is going to be 89 this year, and she does something every day. Listen to her.
And you're going for running fields. Why do you love exercise?
It's important. I mean, if you don't exercise, you just shrivel up. You can't move. I can move.
Yes, you can. Go get them.
So one of the things that Ann loves to do is she loves to drag a tire. So here's a quick video of Ann dragging a tire this past winter. Yeah. So I just want to share this. This is a study that came out of the Cleveland Clinic. And it was with 122,000 participants from 1991 to 2014. And it showed that being unfit on a treadmill or in an exercise stress test was a worse prognosis as far as death than being hypertensive, diabetic, or being a current smoker. We've never seen anything as pronounced as this and as objective as this. So we got to get off our duffs. It is so great for so many different reasons. It is one of the best mood enhancers out there. You get those happy endorphins pumping throughout our bodies. It is the best antidepressant on the planet. It improves your brain. We want to get blood flow going to our brain, specifically the hippocampus, to help prevent dementia, Alzheimer's. And you can see here on the bottom, exercise is the single best thing that you can do for your brain in terms of mood, memory, and learning. Even just 10 minutes, according to Dr. John Rayleigh, a prominent psychiatrist at Harvard Medical School. It boosts your immune system. According to the British Journal of Sports Medicine, just 6 minutes of movement increases the level of infection-fighting immune cells circulating in our bodies by 50%. I want you to know, I exercise 45 minutes to 2 hours just about every day. And the last time that I was sick was with COVID in 2021. And before that, I can't even remember. So eating this way and exercising is a double whammy against getting sick. It increases your appetite. If any of you are having difficulties like really enjoying this food, get out and exercise. It will boost your appetite. And then all of a sudden you come home and that bowl of steel cut oats with blueberries and mangoes and bananas and a little bit of chia seeds will absolutely steal the eye right out of your head. You'll love it. It's fantastic for bone health. We're obviously suffering right now from osteoporosis, and it's because we're all sitting. Your bones, consider them like a different kind of muscle. And we all know what happens when you don't exercise your muscles, you basically atrophy. Well, the same thing happens with your bones. They turn to styrofoam. So we want to do ideally some sort of weight-bearing exercise to basically build those osteoblasts and build back that bone, right? That bone density. And my father recommends for his patients, get a vest, like a 25, 30-pound vest off of Amazon, and then wear it around the house, right? Something that you can do. Another thing is it enhances your energy. Just when you think like, oh my God, I'm absolutely gassed, I don't want to get up and go for that swim or that walk or that run or that bike ride. Every time I do, I never regret it. It's like this mini rebirth of sorts, and I am so fired up for the rest of the day. And then at the end of the day, I find if I can get out and do something, I am the best dad, the best husband, the best parent, the best human that I can be. So it enhances your energy. It's easier to get out of bed. This is according to a study involving 2,500 men and women. Just 50 minutes of exercise a week can provide a 65% boost in sleep quality. And this, of course, is providing that you're not sitting with your computer on your lap in your bed until 12 o'clock watching some sort of a series on Netflix. All right. We want to make sure we're turning that light out and getting a good quality 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Prevents muscle loss. So there's something called sarcopenia. It's the wasting away of muscles that sets in for anybody over the age of about 30. And so we got to maintain that muscle mass. It helps prevent slips and falls. It also will increase your resting metabolic rate at which you burn calories. So there's just a multitude of reasons why we don't want to lose our muscle mass. I want you to see how it can preserve muscle mass. On the far left, you have a 40-year-old triathlete, and you can see the the shaded area is muscle. And then in the middle there, you have a 74-year-old sedentary individual. You can see the white there, the adipose tissue is fat. And then you can see the shaded area is the muscle. This is kind of a cross section of the thigh, the quadricep muscle. And then on the far right, look at that. That's a 74-year-old 74-year-old triathlete that hasn't lost a step, hasn't lost a smidgen of muscle mass compared to that 40-year-old triathlete. So, you know the old adage, use it or lose it. I recommend that you all get out there and use it and just find something that you adore, that you love, whether it's gardening, whether it's walking, whether it's, pickleball. I am such a fan of pickleball these days. I've joined a group. I do a master swim program in the morning. You need accountability as well. So find some workout buddies for accountability and get after it, right? I know you can. One more testimonial and then we're going to be done.
You're in LA, Jane drove in from Palm Springs, right? And Jane, you've been doing this 15 months. What's happened there?
15 months time, my fibromyalgia is gone, my asthma's gone, my lifelong acid reflux is gone. Sciatic pain, knee pain, I've had injections, chronic sinus infections, 15 medications gone. I've got my life back. I don't have chronic pain anymore. I don't have insomnia anymore. I couldn't climb the stairs at work. I had to take the elevator. And now I can go up and down 10 times. And I try to do it 3 times a day at work. And I've lost 120 pounds.
What? What about your cholesterol?
My cholesterol's down about 80 points. I had a stroke when I was 35. And it's because of my lifestyle. It's because of the drive-through windows and not reading labels and eating anything that would hold still.
Is there any way you can show this that photo of you?
I'd be glad to show you my photo. Let me get this out.
This is Jane. Before she kind of found 7-day rescue.
Before I found 7-day rescue challenge, this is my photo. So that's my before.
Mind if I just let everyone
No.
see your
I don't
amazing
think-
figure?
Yeah,
Wow, Jane, way to go.
thank you.
Isn't that incredible? I am so proud of Jane. And actually, Jane made the cover of Women's World. I think it was maybe 4 years ago, but love what she was able to do. She did the 7 days and then she strung it together for about another, what was that? Probably 70 weeks of 7 days. And there you have it, right? It just became a habit. So, let's see there we go. So in summation, you can see here, these are the 7 pillars. Why we love plants, why we really love whole plants as close to grown as possible. Don't drink our food. Instead, let's drink good old H2O. Let's eat those foods that are calorie light, nutrient dense, filled with water, filled with fiber, and are going to satiate you and allow you to find your ideal weight. Don't worry for a second about protein. It's ample, it's there, it's inherent in all these wonderful whole plant-based foods. You're going to be hitting a home run. And let's make sure that these food manufacturers don't outfox us. Let's learn to read a label and look for how much sugar's in there, how much sodium's in there, and what's going on with the fat. And then lastly, let's move these amazing, fabulous bodies that we are all blessed with so that we are happy and eternally healthy. All right. The real truth about health. Those are the 7 pillars. And Steve, good to see you. I know we've got like 4 minutes for Q&A.
Right. So first of all, so Steve runs the Real Truth About Health conference.
Oh.
I'm actually Michael. I'm the moderator. So
Hey, Michael.
hey, Rip. So, okay. So that concludes the presentation. Normally we do a Q&A session, but we're a little short on time.
I get it.
Yeah. So no, which was a great presentation. So thank you very much for that very informative presentation. So real quickly, I just want to kind of let the audience know that they are able to redeem a $10 gift voucher at the plantstrong.com website. It is, if they use the code RealTruth10, they'll be able to redeem that $10 gift voucher for purchases made through the website. So, and we'll put the gift voucher, John, if we could put that into the chat so people can get the code from there, that would be great. Rip, if you could tell people how they can follow you, keep in touch with you, get your books. Your books are obviously available through our bookstore on the Real Truth, the realhealth.com website. but any other way to keep in touch with you, if you could share that.
Yeah. So, well, my Instagram channel is just at Rip Esselstyn. We also have at Go Plan Strong. Obviously, you mentioned we have the website planstrong.com where you can go for any of our whole plant-based food products. You also can go to, and I'm spacing, it's either myplantstrong.com or liveplantstrong.com that has our whole ecosystem of products from coaching to events to the podcast, everything that we have to help people live their best plant strong life.
All right. So again, normally we'd be asking questions right about now. I'm going to ask you one question, but I'm going to ask just to give me like a 1 minute answer because we basically have a minute. What is the most effective way? You went around to all these different people and you've taught them how to eat a certain way. What have you found is the best, most effective way to keep them eating that way long term?
Well,
in 1 minute or less.
That's a great question. It's kind of that's the magical question, is how do you remain adherent to this lifestyle? And I'd say that the most important thing is make the healthy choice the easy choice. Create an environment in your home that looks like your goals. So you don't want to have cookies and chips and cheese in your home. If you are, most of us will be drawn to it like a moth to flame. So don't have it around. Don't make this about willpower. Instead, we want this just to be like, okay, what do I got? Oh, orange slices, apple, kale salad, grapes. That is my biggest thing. If it's not in the house, it's not going to reach your mouth and you're going to hit a home run. And then I find you start to feel so fantastic that you don't want to pollute your body with what I call the contraband that is just so absolutely prevalent out there these days.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for that. I find that to be true for myself too.
Yeah.
So, okay. So with that, I would like to thank you, Rip. If we could unmute the audience so they could say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Blessings,
Thank you.
blessings, everyone.
That was marvelous.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much. Thank you.